Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto met twin Kurama sisters and married them? And subscribe if you enjoy the video. And also check the description. So let's begin the story. The moon hung low over the forest of death, its pale light barely penetrating the dense canopy overhead. Naruto Uzumaki sprinted through the undergrowth, his breath coming in controlled bursts as he pursued the rogue ninja who had stolen a forbidden scroll from Konoha's archives. At 19 years old, he had grown into a formidable shinobi, his body lean and powerful from years of training, his whisker-marked face set in determination. "You can't escape!" Naruto shouted, forming hand seals as he ran. Shadow Clone Jutsu. A dozen copies burst into existence around him, fanning out to cut off the enemy's escape routes. The rogue ninja, a missing nin from Kumobikyo with dark chakra radiating from his body, turned with a sneer, his hands already moving through unfamiliar signs. "Foolish Konoha brat," the man hissed. "You don't even know what you're protecting, do you? This scroll contains the yin-yang separation seal, a jutsu so dangerous the second Hokage himself sealed it away." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "I don't care what it is. You're not getting away with stealing from my village." The rogue ninja laughed, a sound like grinding stones. "Then let me show you its power." He slammed his palm onto the unfurled scroll, and black symbols erupted from the paper like living serpents. "Forbidden art, yin-yang separation seal." The world exploded in light. Naruto felt the technique strike him like a physical blow, not to his body but to something deeper, his very soul. The familiar warmth of Kurama's chakra within him suddenly lurched violently, as if someone had grabbed it and was trying to tear it in half. He collapsed to his knees, hands clutching his stomach where the seal had always rested. What is this?" he gasped. But the words came out as barely a whisper. Inside his mindscape, chaos reigned. The familiar sewer-like corridors that housed Kurama's cage shattered like glass, reformed, then shattered again. Naruto found his consciousness pulled inward, dragged into the seal against his will. When his vision cleared, he stood in an entirely different space. No longer a dreary prison but a vast chamber that seemed carved from crimson crystal, pulsing with an inner light that cast everything in shades of red and gold. And there, before him, stood the cage that had held the Nine Tails for 19 years. Except now, impossibly, the massive fox demon was splitting apart, its form becoming translucent as it divided down the middle like a cell undergoing mitosis. "Kurama!" Naruto shouted, running toward the cage. "What's happening to you?" The fox's multiple tails thrashed in what appeared to be agony, its enormous body writhing as the separation continued. But then something unexpected happened. The two halves didn't disappear or diminish. Instead, they solidified, each becoming whole and complete. Where there had been one nine-tailed fox, there were now two, but these weren't the massive, bestial forms Naruto had grown accustomed to seeing. As golden light enveloped both figures, they began to shrink and change, their shapes becoming more refined, more human. When the light faded, Naruto stood frozen in shock. Before him stood two young women, or rather, two beings that appeared to be young women, though the 9 foxtails swaying behind each of them and the fox ears perched atop their heads made it clear they were anything but human. They were identical in almost every way, both possessing long, flowing crimson hair that seemed to move with a life of its own, amber eyes with slitted pupils that glowed with inner fire, and faces of heartbreaking beauty marked with delicate whisker-like patterns on their cheeks. Both wore elegant white and red kimonos that seemed woven from chakra itself, the fabric shifting and flowing like liquid light. The only way to distinguish them was subtle. The woman on the left had her hair tied back with a golden ornament, while the one on the right let her hair flow freely. The left one's kimono bore golden accents, while the right one's featured silver. They stood within the now open cage, looking at each other with expressions of wonder and recognition, then slowly turned their gazes toward Naruto. "You!" they both said simultaneously, their voices a perfect harmony that sent shivers down Naruto's spine. The sound was melodious yet carried the weight of ancient power, like wind chimes forged from the singing of stars. Naruto stumbled backward, his mind reeling. "Kurama? Are you?" The woman with the golden ornament stepped forward first, her 9 tails fanning out behind her in a display that was both beautiful and intimidating. "Yes and no, Naruto Uzumaki," she said, her voice now independent from her sisters. I am Kurama, the young half of the Nine Tails, the active, aggressive chakra that you've known all your life. The second woman moved to stand beside her twin, her expression softer but no less powerful. And I am Kurama, she said, her voice slightly gentler, like a warm breeze compared to her sister's crackling fire. The Eden half, the passive, contemplative chakra that has always existed within the seal but remained dormant, hidden beneath my sister's dominant presence. This is impossible, Naruto breathed, though even as he said it, memories began flooding back, moments throughout his life when Kurama's chakra had felt different, times when the rage and hatred seemed tempered by something calmer, more protective. He had always attributed it to Kurama's gradually changing attitude toward him, but what if it had been two separate consciousnesses all along? Kurama smiled sadly. Not impossible. Simply forgotten? When the Sage of Six Paths first divided the Ten Tails chakra to create us 9 bijou, he ensured each of us contained both yin and yang aspects. Balance was his guiding principle. But over the centuries, as we were treated as mere weapons, as monsters to be sealed and controlled, that balance was disrupted. My sister's yang nature, her aggression and power, became dominant as a defense mechanism, while my yin nature retreated deeper into dormancy. Kurama's tails lashed behind her, and Naruto recognized the gesture. It was what the fox always did when agitated or embarrassed. When you were born and I was sealed inside you, the fourth Hokage's seal inadvertently reinforced that separation. For 19 years, you've been interacting primarily with me while Kurama slept, influencing you from within but never fully conscious. Until that bastard used the yin-yang separation seal, Naruto concluded, his tactical mind catching up despite his shock. It didn't just affect me, it affected you too. It completed the separation that was already partially there. Precisely, both sisters said in unison, then glanced at each other with small smiles that suggested a level of understanding and connection Naruto couldn't begin to fathom. He ran a hand through his blonde hair, a habit when he was stressed. Okay, I can process this. 2 Kuramas instead of 1. That's actually kind of cool. I mean, you're both still here, still with me, right? We haven't lost our connection? Something flickered in both women's amber eyes, an emotion Naruto couldn't quite identify. Kurama spoke first, her voice carrying an unusual note of hesitation. Our connection remains, Naruto. In fact, it's deeper than you realize. That seal the rogue ninja used, it didn't just separate yin from yang. It's a technique designed to bind separated halves to their container in a much more permanent way. What does that mean? Naruto asked warily. Kurama stepped forward, close enough now that Naruto could see the intricate patterns of her kimono, each thread seeming to pulse with chakra. It means we are no longer simply sealed within you, Naruto. We are bound to you. Our existence is linked to yours on a fundamental level. Where you go, we can follow. Your emotions affect us more directly, and ours affect you. In the language of fox spirits, which is what we truly are beneath the title of bijou, this is called a soul tether. A soul tether, Naruto repeated slowly. That sounds intense. It is, Kurama confirmed, moving to stand on his other side. Naruto suddenly felt very aware that he was flanked by 2 incredibly powerful beings who looked like beautiful women but could each probably level a mountain with a sneeze. In fox spirit culture, soul tethers only form between mates, between those destined to share their lives completely. The implications hit Naruto like a raisin gun to the face. Wait, mates? You mean like married? Are you saying this seal accidentally married me to both of you? Not married in the human sense, Kurama said quickly, though a faint blush colored her cheeks, an expression that looked utterly bizarre on what he'd always thought of as a massive demon fox. But bound, yes, our souls are now intertwined with yours. In time, we will be able to manifest outside your body, to exist in the physical world as these forms suggest. And you will find that your chakra, your emotions, even your thoughts will echo between the 3 of us. Naruto's mind was spinning. This was beyond anything he'd prepared for when he'd woken up that morning. I need to think about this. This is a lot. We know, both sisters said gently. Kurama reached out hesitantly, and after a moment's pause, placed her hand on his shoulder. The touch sent a wave of warmth through him, familiar yet different, like coming home to find your house has been redecorated in ways that make it even more comfortable. We've been with you your entire life, Naruto. We know this is overwhelming. But understand this, we are not your enemies. We are not your prisoners. We are, in every way that matters, yours. And you are ours, Kurama added from his other side, her hand joining her sister's on his other shoulder. Whether you intended it or not, whether we intended it or not, we are bound now. The question is what we do with that bond. Naruto's consciousness snapped back to his body with a jolt that left him gasping. He was still kneeling in the forest of death, but something felt fundamentally different. There was a fullness in his chest, a warmth that radiated from his seal outward, and he could actually sense, two distinct presences within him where before there had only been one. We're here, Kurama's voice echoed in his mind clear as day. We'll always be here. You're not alone anymore, Kurama added, her mental voice like a warm embrace. You never were, but now you'll truly know it. The rogue ninja was gone, fled while Naruto had been unconscious in his mindscape. The stolen scroll lay abandoned on the forest floor, its ink still glowing with residual chakra from the forbidden technique. Naruto picked it up carefully, noting how even this simple movement felt different now. His chakra flowed smoother, more balanced, as if the addition of Kurama's energy had perfected something that had always been slightly off-kilter. We need to get back to the village, Naruto said aloud, then paused. Can you hear me when I talk like this, or do I need to think at you? Both work, they answered in unison, and Naruto could almost feel their amusement at his confusion. We're part of you, Naruto. Your thoughts, your words, your feelings. We experience them all now more directly than before. Right. Great. That's not going to be awkward at all, Naruto muttered, but he couldn't help the small smile that tugged at his lips. Despite the strangeness of the situation, there was something comforting about it too. He'd spent his whole childhood feeling alone, even after he'd learned about Kurama. But now it was like having two people who would always understand him, always be there no matter what. The fact that those two people were impossibly beautiful fox spirit women who were apparently bound to his soul was something he'd deal with later. He made it back to Konoha as dawn broke over the village, the first rays of sunlight painting the Hokage monument in shades of gold and crimson. The guards at the gate took the scroll with relief, and Naruto was immediately summoned to the Hokage's office to give his report. Tsunade sat behind her desk, looking as formidable as ever despite the early hour. Kakashi lounged against the wall, his visible eye crinkling in what might have been a smile. Shikamaru stood by the window, already looking like he wanted to go back to sleep despite the potentially serious situation. So, Tsunade said after Naruto finished explaining what had happened, you're telling me that the rogue ninja used a forbidden seal that split the Nine Tails into two separate entities, both female, both bound to you through something called a soul tether? That's the summary, yeah, Naruto confirmed, trying not to squirm under her intense gaze. They're still inside me right now, but they said eventually they'll be able to manifest physically outside my body. They're not threats though. Kurama's been working with me for years now, and Kurama is, well, she's basically the calm, reasonable half that was always there but dormant. How troublesome, Shikamaru sighed, though his eyes were sharp with analysis. Two bijou instead of one means twice the chakra, but also twice the complexity. The political implications alone are going to be a nightmare. Other villages will see this as Konoha gaining an unfair advantage. Kakashi pushed off from the wall, his hands in his pockets. On the other hand, if the separation is as complete as Naruto describes, it means he's no longer technically a Jinchuriki in the traditional sense. He's something new, something that's never existed before. A soul-bonded host to twin fox spirits, Tsunade mused, tapping her fingers on the desk. The Sage of Six Paths might have had some experience with this kind of thing, but his knowledge died with him millennia ago. We're in uncharted territory. They're scared, Kurama observed in Naruto's mind. Not of us specifically, but of the unknown. It's a reasonable fear. We should offer to speak with them, Kurama suggested. Let them see we're not the mindless beasts they might fear. Naruto cleared his throat. Actually, Kurama and Kurama would like to speak with you directly, if that's okay. They think it might help if you could hear from them yourselves. Tsunade's eyes widened slightly. They can do that? Communicate through you? We can do more than that. Kurama's voice emerged from Naruto's mouth, but it wasn't quite his voice. It carried a deeper resonance, a harmonics that made it clear something other than human vocal cords was producing the sound. Lady Tsunade, we mean no harm to this village. Our bond with Naruto has only strengthened our commitment to protecting what he holds dear. Then Kurama's gentler tones followed. We understand your concern. For too long, Bija have been seen as weapons or disasters. But we are more than that. We are beings with thoughts, feelings, and loyalties. And our loyalty is to Naruto Uzumaki, which means it is to Konoha. The room fell silent for a long moment. Then Tsunade leaned back in her chair, a wry smile crossing her face. Well, I'll be damned. The brat really did make friends with the Ninetales, both of them, apparently. Alright, here's how we're going to handle this. Naruto, you're on restricted duty for the next week while we monitor your condition and ensure the seal is stable. Kakashi, you'll supervise him and report any unusual developments. Shikamaru, start working on how we're going to explain this to the other villages without starting a war. What about when they can manifest physically? Naruto asked. What happens then? Tsunade's expression turned thoughtful. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, focus on understanding this new bond of yours. Dismissed. As they left the Hokage tower, Kakashi fell into step beside Naruto. So, you've got two powerful fox spirits bound to your soul. How does that feel? Honestly? Weird. Really weird. But also kind of right, if that makes sense? Naruto glanced at his former sensei. You ever feel like something was missing, even when everything seemed fine? Like a puzzle piece you didn't know was gone until it suddenly appeared. Kakashi's visible eye crinkled. Can't say I have, but then again, I don't have ancient fox spirits living inside me. Though I have to say, this is quite the development. Most people would be terrified. I probably should be, Naruto admitted. But Kurama's been with me my whole life, and Kurama feels like someone I've known forever but just couldn't see clearly until now. Besides, he grinned, when have I ever done things the normal way? Never, both sisters said warmly in his mind. And we wouldn't have it any other way. The next few days passed in a blur of medical examinations, seal inspections, and increasingly bizarre conversations with various Konoha experts trying to understand what had happened to Naruto. Through it all, Kurama and Kuramai remained constant presences in his mind, their commentary ranging from helpful to sarcastic to surprisingly insightful. Naruto discovered quickly that having two ancient fox spirits as mental companions was an adjustment. They could feel his emotions, which meant they always knew when he was stressed, happy, or trying to hide something. In turn, he was becoming increasingly attuned to their moods. Kurama's fiery impatience and pride, Kuramai's calmer wisdom and gentle humor. It was on the fifth day that things changed again. Naruto was in his apartment, going through some light training exercises, when he felt a surge of chakra from his seal unlike anything before. It wasn't painful or threatening, rather, it felt like something was pushing outward, like a flower blooming or a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. It's time, Kurama said, her mental voice carrying a mix of excitement and nervousness. The soul tether has stabilized enough. We can manifest now. Are you ready? Kurama asked gently. This will change everything, Naruto. Once we step outside, we'll be physical beings in this world, not just voices in your head. Naruto took a deep breath, then nodded. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this. The chakra intensified, and suddenly there were two pillars of crimson light in his apartment, swirling with power that made the air crackle. Naruto shielded his eyes, and when the light faded, he lowered his hands slowly. Standing before him were Kurama and Kuramai, no longer confined to his mindscape but real, physical, and absolutely stunning. They looked exactly as they had in his mind, tall, graceful figures with 9 foxtails each, pointed ears, and those mesmerizing amber eyes. But seeing them in reality was entirely different from seeing them in his inner world. Every detail was sharper, more vivid. The way their hair caught the light, the subtle patterns on their kimonos that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles, the faint glow that surrounded them like an aura of pure chakra. Hi, Naruto said intelligently, his brain apparently having decided to take a vacation. Both women smiled at him, and the effect was devastating. Kurama stepped forward first, her movements predatory grace mixed with feline curiosity. "Hello, Naruto. It's strange seeing you with external eyes rather than our shared connection." "Strange but wonderful," Kurama added, moving to examine the apartment with obvious interest. "I've watched your life unfold from within, but experiencing the world with physical senses is..." She paused, touching the wall with wonder. "Incredible." Naruto ran a hand through his hair, a nervous laugh escaping. "So, welcome to my apartment?" "It's not much, but it's perfect," Kurama interrupted, her tail swishing behind her. "It smells like you, ramen, training sweat, and determination. Very fitting. Plus there are plants," Kurama noted, crouching to examine the small herbs Naruto kept by the window. "You're taking care of living things. That's good. It shows growth." This was surreal. Naruto had faced gods, fought wars, stared down impossible odds without flinching. But having two beautiful fox spirit women compliment his housekeeping was somehow more overwhelming than any battle. "Get it together," he told himself firmly. "They're Kurama and Kuramai. They're your partners, your friends. The fact that they look like that is just an aesthetic choice or something." "Can you read my thoughts still?" he asked aloud. Both sisters turned to him with knowing smiles. "Not as clearly as before," Kurama admitted. "The manifestation creates a bit of separation. We can sense your emotions, feel strong thoughts. But your mind is more private now. Unless you actively project to us. Which is good," Kurama added kindly, clearly sensing his relief. "Everyone deserves privacy, even from those they're soul bonded to." A knock at the door made all three of them freeze. Naruto glanced at the sisters, who both nodded. They understood. He opened the door to find Sakura standing there, medical bag in hand. "Hey Naruto, Tsunade-sama sent me to check on your seal progression." She stopped mid-sentence, her eyes going wide as she caught sight of Kurama and Kuramai behind him. "Naruto? Who are Sakura? Meet Kurama and Kuramai," Naruto said with a sheepish grin. "The Nine Tails. Both of them. They can manifest physically now." To her credit, Sakura only stood there gaping for about 10 seconds before her medical training kicked in. She pushed past Naruto, immediately beginning diagnostic scans with her chakra. "This is impossible. How are they maintaining physical forms? The chakra expenditure should be enormous. Unless..." She looked at Naruto sharply. "They're drawing from you?" "It's a symbiotic exchange," Kurama explained patiently. "We provide Naruto with enhanced chakra capacity and control, while he provides us with the anchor we need to maintain these forms. It's perfectly balanced. He's in no danger." Sakura ran more scans, her brow furrowed in concentration. Finally, she stepped back with a huff. "Your vitals are actually better than before. Heart rate steady, chakra pathways clear, seal integrity perfect. I don't understand it, but you seem healthy." "Told you it would be fine," Naruto said with a grin. "Don't get cocky. Tsunade-sama will still want a full report, and you know the council is going to have opinions about this." Sakura's expression softened as she looked at the twin fox spirits. "But, I have to admit, it's pretty amazing. You actually did it, Naruto. You made real friends with the Nine Tails." "Friends," Kurama repeated thoughtfully. "Yes, I suppose that's accurate. Though perhaps inadequate for what we've become." Kurama moved closer to Naruto, her presence warm and comforting. "We're bound together now, 3 souls sharing one fate. Whatever comes, we'll face it together." Naruto felt something warm bloom in his chest, a feeling he couldn't quite name, but that felt like coming home after a long journey. He looked at both sisters, at Sakura's bemused expression, and thought about all the impossible things he'd accomplished in his life. This was just one more. Together, he agreed. And the smile that spread across both Kurama's and Kuramai's faces made his heart skip in a way he definitely wasn't ready to analyze yet. As the afternoon sun streamed through the windows, casting everything in golden light, Naruto Uzumaki realized his life had just become infinitely more complicated. 2 powerful fox spirits, bound to his soul, now sharing his world in physical forms that drew every eye. But complexity had never stopped him before, and it wouldn't stop him now. Whatever challenges lay ahead, political fallout, village prejudice, or the simple logistics of suddenly having 2 eternal companions, he'd face them the same way he'd faced everything else, with courage, determination, and an unshakable belief that somehow, against all odds, things would work out. Because that's what he did. That's who he was. And now, for better or worse, that's who they were together. Naruto woke to the unfamiliar sensation of warmth on both sides of him. His eyes snapped open, and he found himself sandwiched between two sleeping forms, Kurama on his left, Kurama on his right, both curled against him with their tails wrapped around his body like living blankets. When did this happen? He thought frantically, trying to remember the previous night. After Sakura had left, the sisters had insisted they needed to stay close to him while their physical manifestations stabilized. He'd offered them his bed while he took the couch, but apparently sometime during the night, they'd migrated to wherever he was. "We can hear you panicking," Kurama murmured without opening her eyes, her voice still thick with sleep. "Stop it. This is perfectly natural for soul-bonded beings, natural for fox spirits," Kurama added, stretching languorously. "We're pack creatures by nature, Naruto. Sleeping in close proximity strengthens the bond and makes us feel secure." "Right, sure, totally normal," Naruto said, his voice slightly higher than usual. "It's just that in human culture, sleeping in the same bed usually means—" "We know what it means in human culture," Kurama interrupted, finally opening her amber eyes to look at him with amusement. "We've been inside your head for 19 years, remember? We've seen every memory, every thought, every awkward moment of your adolescence." Naruto's face went scarlet. "You didn't have to bring that up," Kurama giggled, actually giggled, a sound that seemed impossible coming from half of the nine tails. "It's adorable how flustered you get. After everything we've been through together, you'd think sleeping in the same vicinity wouldn't be such a shock. That's different. You were inside my seal, not..." He gestured helplessly at their current position. Before either sister could respond, there was a sharp knock at the door, followed by Kakashi's distinctive voice. "Naruto? We need to talk. The council has called an emergency meeting about your situation." All three of them were up in an instant, the fox spirits moving with inhuman grace as they adjusted their kimonos and arranged their tails. Naruto scrambled to make himself presentable, running fingers through his perpetually messy hair as he went to open the door. Kakashi stood in the hallway, his visible eye taking in the scene with what Naruto had learned to recognize as concealed amusement. "Good morning. I see you all slept well." "Don't start," Naruto warned, but there was no heat in it. "What's this about a council meeting? Word has spread about the twin manifestations," Kakashi explained, his tone becoming more serious. "The civilian council is concerned, the shinobi council wants answers, and the clan heads are divided on whether this represents an opportunity or a threat. Tsunade wants you there to explain directly." Kurama's tails lashed in irritation. "Politics. I'd forgotten how tedious human politics could be. We need to face this eventually," Kurama said pragmatically. "Better to address their concerns directly than let fear and rumor spread unchecked." 30 minutes later, they entered the council chambers, a large, circular room with tiered seating where Konoha's leadership gathered to debate matters of importance. Every eye turned to them as they entered, the weight of dozens of gazes falling on Naruto and his two companions. Tsunade sat at the head table, flanked by the council elders Hamura and Koharu. The clan heads occupied the first tier: Hayashi Hyuga, Shikaku Nara, Choza Akimichi, Inoichi Yamanaka, Suminazuka, and others. The second tier held representatives from the civilian council and prominent merchant families. The third tier was filled with jonin and special jonin who had been invited to observe. "Naruto Uzumaki," Tsunade began formally, "please introduce your companions to the council." Naruto stepped forward, acutely aware of Kurama and Kuramai flanking him like living flames. "This is Kurama and Kuramai, the two halves of the nine-tailed fox. Due to a forbidden technique used against me during my last mission, they've been separated and given physical form. They're bound to me through something called a soul tether, and pose no threat to the village." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Hamura leaned forward, his aged eyes sharp. "No threat? They are bijou, creatures of mass destruction. How can you guarantee they won't turn on us?" Before Naruto could respond, Kurama spoke, her voice carrying clearly through the room. "Because we have no desire to destroy what Naruto cherishes. For 19 years, I have existed within him, watching him grow from a lonely child into a man worthy of respect. My sister and I are not the mindless beasts you fear. We are sentient beings capable of choice, and we choose to stand with him, and through him, with Konoha, Kurama added, her gentler tone a counterpoint to her sister's fierce declaration. We understand your fear. The history between Bijou and humans is written in blood and tragedy, but that history doesn't have to define our future. Hayashi Hyuga stood, his Byakugan eyes already activated. I can see the chakra connection between them and Naruto. It's unlike anything in our records, not a simple seal, but an intertwining of their very life forces. If one were to die, the others would likely follow, Kurama confirmed quietly. We are bound that completely. Our fates are one. This revelation caused a fresh wave of concerned whispers. Shikaku Nara stroked his beard thoughtfully. That level of interdependence could be exploited by our enemies. If they capture Naruto or manage to kill one of the fox spirits, all three could be eliminated. It also means we have a vested interest in protecting each other, and by extension, this village, Kurama countered. Our power is considerable. Combined with Naruto's abilities, we represent a significant defensive asset. One of the civilian council members, a portly merchant named Takahashi, stood with obvious agitation. But how do we know you won't influence him? Use your connection to manipulate his thoughts, turn him against us? Naruto felt anger flare in his chest, but Kurama's mental touch calmed him. Let us handle this, she projected gently. The soul tether doesn't work that way, Kurama explained patiently. We can sense each other's emotions, communicate mentally, but we cannot control thoughts or actions. Naruto's will is his own, as are ours. We are partners, not puppet and puppeteers. Tsunade raised her hand for silence. I've had our best seal masters and medical ninja examine Naruto's condition over the past week. Their findings support what the fox spirits claim. The bond is symbiotic, not parasitic. Naruto's chakra reserves have increased exponentially. His healing factor has improved, and his mental state is stable. If anything, he's healthier now than before the separation occurred. That may be true, Hokage-sama, Koharu interjected, her voice brittle with age and suspicion, but we must consider the political ramifications. The other villages will see this as Konoha gaining 2 additional Bijou. It could destabilize the fragile peace we've maintained since the war, or it could ensure that peace continues, a new voice spoke up. Everyone turned to see Kakashi standing. Think about it. Naruto is known throughout the shinobi world as a hero of the Fourth War. He has connections with every village, friendships with other Jinchuriki, and a reputation for turning enemies into allies. If anyone can introduce the idea of Bijou and humans coexisting peacefully, it's him. Suminazuka, the Inuzuka clan head, barked out a laugh. The kid's already got a Bijou to vouch for him. Now he's got 2. I say we see where this goes. My clan understands bonds between humans and beasts. This seems like the ultimate evolution of that partnership. Here, Choza Akimichi agreed. Naruto's proven himself time and again. I'm inclined to trust his judgment. The debate continued for another hour, with various council members raising concerns and others offering support. Through it all, Naruto stood firm, with Kurama and Kurama beside him answering questions with patience and clarity that surprised many in the room. Finally, Tsunade called for a vote. All in favor of allowing Kurama and Kurama to remain manifested within Konoha as Naruto's bonded companions, with the understanding that they will be subject to periodic monitoring and evaluation? Hands rose throughout the chamber, not unanimous, but a clear majority. Tsunade nodded with satisfaction. The motion carries. However, her voice hardened, there will be conditions. Naruto, you and your companions will check in weekly with my office. Any unusual developments in your bond must be reported immediately, and if the other villages request a diplomatic meeting to discuss this situation, you will attend and represent Konoha's interests. Understood? Yes, Hokage-sama, Naruto said, relief washing through him. Beside him, he felt both sisters relax slightly. Good. Now get out of here before the paperwork arrives. Dismissed. News of the council meeting spread through Konoha like wildfire. By midday, It seemed like everyone in the village knew that Naruto Uzumaki was walking around with two manifested bijou in the form of beautiful women. The reactions were mixed. Naruto had suggested they get some ramen at Ichiraka to celebrate, which led to their first real public outing as a trio. The walk through the village streets was an exercise in social navigation unlike anything Naruto had experienced before. People stopped and stared. Some whispered behind their hands. A few brave souls approached to ask questions or offer congratulations, while others crossed to the other side of the street entirely. Children pointed with unabashed curiosity at the fox ears and tails, their innocent wonder a stark contrast to their parents' wariness. "This is exhausting," Kurama muttered, her ears flicking with irritation at each new stare. "I can feel their fear and awe mixing together. It's like standing in a storm of conflicting emotions. They're just not used to us yet," Kurama said soothingly, though her tails were pressed closer to her body than usual, a sign of discomfort that Naruto was learning to read. "Give them time." "Hey! Naruto!" A familiar voice called out, and they turned to see Team 10 approaching, Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji, along with their sensei Asuma's daughter, Mirai. Ino's eyes went wide as she took in Kurama and Kuramai. "Oh wow, the rumors don't do you justice. You're both gorgeous." Then she seemed to remember herself and turned to Naruto with a mock-stern expression. "Leave it to you to end up with not one but two beautiful women bound to your soul. Some guys have all the luck." "It's not like that," Naruto protested, his face reddening. "We're just soul-bonded companions?" Shikamaru supplied with a smirk. "Yeah, we heard. Troublesome doesn't even begin to cover it, Naruto. You've managed to create a political situation so complex it'll take months to fully navigate." Choji, more pragmatic, offered them a bag of chips. "Want some? I find food makes everything less stressful." Kurama accepted a chip with a delicate smile, then her eyes widened as she tasted it. "Oh, this is wonderful. The crunch, the salt, the flavor." She looked at the chip like it held the secrets of the universe. "I've experienced taste through Naruto's memories, but actually tasting something myself is incredible." "Try this," Kurama said, pulling her sister toward a nearby food stall that sold yakitori. Soon both fox spirits were sampling everything they could get their hands on, their tails wagging with unrestrained delight at each new flavor. Naruto watched them with a mix of amusement and fondness. They looked so joyful, so alive, a far cry from the caged demon he'd first encountered in his mindscape all those years ago. "You care about them," Ino observed quietly, watching his expression. "Really care about them." "They've been part of me my whole life," Naruto said simply. "Just because they can walk around outside now doesn't change that. If anything, it makes it more real." "What's it like?" Mirai asked curiously. "Having that kind of connection with someone." "Sorry, with two someones?" Naruto considered the question. "It's like, you know how sometimes you have a thought, and you're not sure if you should say it, so you keep it inside? With them, I don't have to. They already know what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking about, at least the important stuff. It's intimate in a way I don't really know how to explain. But it's also comforting. I'm never really alone anymore." "Sounds intense," Shikamaru said, but there was a note of approval in his voice. "Just be careful, Naruto. That level of connection can be a strength, but it's also a vulnerability. Don't let your enemies figure out how to exploit it." Before Naruto could respond, a commotion erupted nearby. A group of academy students had apparently gotten too close to Kurama and Kuramai, and one of the children, a boy no older than 7, had actually tugged on one of Kuramai's tails. The fox spirit whirled around with a yelp of surprise, and for a moment, her chakra flared instinctively, causing the temperature around them to spike. The children stumbled back in fear, and several adults moved to put themselves between the kids and the perceived threat. "Kuramai!" Naruto was at her side in an instant, his hand on her shoulder. Through their connection, he could feel her distress. She hadn't meant to scare them, the reaction had been pure instinct. "I'm sorry," Kuramai said quickly, her voice trembling slightly. "I didn't mean to frighten anyone. My tails are sensitive, and I reacted without thinking." The boy who tugged her tail was crying now, being comforted by his mother, who shot Kuramai a fearful glare. The crowd that had gathered looked tense, ready to bolt or fight depending on what happened next. Naruto knelt down to the boy's level. Hey, it's okay. She didn't mean to scare you. But you should always ask before touching someone, or something that belongs to them. Kurama's tails are part of her, like your arms or legs. How would you feel if someone pulled your ear without asking? The boy sniffled, considering this. It would hurt. Exactly, Naruto said gently. She's not mad at you, and neither am I. We just want everyone to be safe and respectful, okay? The tension in the crowd eased slightly. The mother nodded grudgingly, and Kurama, taking her cue from Naruto, created a small, harmless foxfire illusion in her palm, shaping it into a butterfly that fluttered around the boy's head, making him giggle through his tears. I truly am sorry, Kurama said softly. I'm still learning how to exist in this world. I promise I'll be more careful. Kurama had appeared at her sister's other side, her expression fierce but protective. We're not here to harm anyone. But we expect the same respect you'd give any other citizen of this village. We may be different, but we're not dangerous, not unless someone tries to harm Naruto, or this village. It was a tense moment, but gradually people began to disperse, some still wary but others looking thoughtful. A few even offered tentative smiles or nods of understanding. As they finally made it to Ichiraku Ramen, Tuchi greeted them with his usual warm smile. Naruto! And you must be Kurama and Kurama. I've heard quite a bit about you too. What can I get you? The simple, genuine welcome seemed to lift everyone's spirits. Soon they were seated at the counter, steaming bowls of ramen before them. Kurama and Kurama's first experience with ramen was something Naruto would treasure forever. The way their eyes lit up, the small sounds of pleasure they made, the way their tails wagged unconsciously with each bite. This is what you've been obsessing over all these years, Kurama said between slurps. I take back every sarcastic comment I ever made about your ramen addiction. This is divine. Told you, Naruto said with a grin. Ichiraku's is the best. We should come here every day, Kurama declared seriously, already halfway through her second bowl. And there go my savings, Naruto laughed. But he was smiling. This, sitting here with them, sharing something he loved, watching them experience the simple joy of a good meal. This felt right in a way he couldn't quite articulate. This is what it means to be bonded, he thought. Sharing everything, the good, the bad, the mundane, and the extraordinary. Yes, both sisters responded in his mind, their mental voices warm with affection. This is exactly what it means. That evening, they returned to Naruto's apartment to find an unexpected visitor waiting, Sasuke Uchiha, leaning against the wall with his characteristic air of aloof disinterest that didn't quite mask his curiosity. Sasuke! Naruto greeted his oldest friend with genuine pleasure. When did you get back to the village? This afternoon? I heard about your situation. Sasuke's dark eyes swept over Kurama and Kurama with the analytical gaze of someone evaluating potential threats. So it's true. The nine tails split in two. We're standing right here, Uchiha, Kurama said dryly. You could address us directly. A ghost of a smirk crossed Sasuke's face. Fair enough. I'm Sasuke Uchiha. I assume you know who I am, given you've been inside Naruto's head. We do, Kurama confirmed. You're the one who almost killed him several times before finally admitting you were friends. Naruto's forgiveness of you is either incredibly noble or incredibly stupid. We haven't decided which. Naruto groaned. Could we maybe not bring up the past right now? The past informs the present, Sasuke said, but there was no malice in his tone. I wanted to see for myself what kind of beings would bind themselves to this idiot. He stepped closer, and Naruto noticed his Sharingan was active, studying the chakra connections between the three of them. Interesting. I can see the tether. It's like watching three rivers flow into one ocean, separate but unified. Poetic, Kurama noted with surprise. Unexpected from an Uchiha. We have our moments. Sasuke deactivated his Sharingan and looked at Naruto directly. The other villagers are going to hear about this, if they haven't already. You're going to become an even bigger target than you already were. I know, Naruto said seriously. But what else am I supposed to do? Send them back into the seal? Even if I could, I wouldn't want to. They're part of my life now. I wasn't suggesting you should, Sasuke replied. I was going to offer my assistance in the inevitable political mess this creates. You'll need someone who can navigate diplomatic waters without drowning in their own optimism. Naruto blinked in surprise. You're offering to help? With politics? Don't sound so shocked. I've spent years traveling between villages, observing their power structures and political machinations. I understand how these things work. Sasuke's expression turned serious. You're my friend, Naruto. And despite everything I've done, you've never given up on me. The least I can do is help you navigate this. Kurama tilted her head, studying Sasuke with interest. You've changed since we last observed you through Naruto's memories. There's less darkness in you now. More peace. Time and distance have a way of providing perspective, Sasuke said quietly. I've seen enough hatred and revenge to know they lead nowhere good. If Naruto can forge a genuine bond with beings once considered monsters, maybe there's hope for everything else too. A knock at the door interrupted the moment. Naruto opened it to find Hinata Hyuga standing there, looking nervous but determined. Her pale eyes widened slightly as she took in the gathered company. And Naruto-kun, I heard about what happened and I wanted to make sure you were okay. Her voice trailed off as she noticed Kurama and Kurama, and a faint blush colored her cheeks. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You're not interrupting, Naruto assured her, gesturing her inside. Hinata, these are Kurama and Kurama. Guys, this is Hinata Hyuga, one of my oldest friends. The one he had a crush on for years but was too dense to realize she liked him back. Kurama supplied helpfully, causing both Naruto and Hinata to turn bright red. Kurama! Naruto protested. What? It's true. We sat inside your head listening to you pine after her for the better part of a decade. It was almost painful to watch. Hinata looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor, but Kurama intervened with a gentle smile. Forgive my sister, she lacks tact. It's nice to meet you, Hinata. Naruto has many fond memories of you. Your kindness was a light in his childhood darkness. I thank you, Hinata managed, her blush deepening. I'm glad Naruto has found companions who care about him. Even if the circumstances are unusual. That's one way to put it, Sasuke muttered. As the evening progressed, more friends arrived. Sakura with medical supplies for a routine checkup, Shikamaru with a stack of documents about precedents for unusual living situations, Ino with gossip from around the village, Choji with enough food to feed a small army. Even Lee showed up, his enthusiasm undimmed as he challenged Kurama and Kurama to arm wrestling matches, which they politely declined. Naruto's small apartment became crowded with people, laughter, and the warmth of genuine friendship. Watching his friends interact with Kurama and Kurama, some warily, others with open curiosity, all with varying degrees of acceptance, Naruto felt something settle in his chest. This could work. It wouldn't be easy, and there would undoubtedly be challenges ahead, but with his friends' support, and the bond he shared with the twin fox spirits, they could navigate whatever came their way. You're thinking too loudly, Kurama commented, settling beside him on the couch while Kurama engaged in an animated discussion with Ino about fashion. We can feel your emotions churning. Just thinking about how lucky I am, Naruto admitted. A few years ago, I was alone with everyone hating me. Now I've got friends, respect, and two ancient fox spirits who actually care about what happens to me. It's a lot to process. You were never really alone, Kurama said quietly. I was there, even if I was too consumed by hatred to acknowledge it properly. And Kurama was there too, even in her dormant state. We've always been part of you, Naruto. That hasn't changed, it's just become more obvious. I know. And I'm grateful for it. For both of you. He glanced at her, taking in the way the lamplight caught in her crimson hair, the gentle curve of her smile, the intelligence and ancient wisdom in her amber eyes. This is going to be complicated, isn't it? Immensely, Kurama agreed. Village politics, other nations' reactions, figuring out how three souls bonded together navigate a world designed for individuals. Not to mention whatever feelings might develop beyond simple companionship. Naruto's heart skipped. What do you mean by that? Kurama's smile turned knowing. We're bound to you, Naruto, closer than any other beings in existence. We share your emotions, your dreams, your very essence. Do you really think that level of intimacy won't evolve into something more profound? Soul tethers between fox spirits and their chosen partners traditionally lead to mating bonds, Kurama finished, having apparently been listening despite her conversation with Ino. She turned to face them, her expression serious but not unkind. It's the natural progression of what we are together. But we don't expect you to rush into anything. We have time, all the time in the world, really. What matters is that we face the future together, whatever shape that future takes. Naruto looked between the two of them, these impossible, wonderful beings who had somehow become the most important parts of his life. Fear warred with excitement, uncertainty with hope. But beneath it all was something solid and unshakable: trust. Together, he agreed, and the word felt like a promise, a vow, a beginning. Whatever came next, political intrigue, village gossip, the complexity of navigating relationships that defied every convention, they would face it as they faced everything, united, determined, and unwilling to give up. Because that was who they were now. 3 souls, 1 destiny. And the story was just beginning. The morning sun cast long shadows across Training Ground 7 as Naruto faced off against his 2 bonded companions. A week had passed since their public debut, and while the village was slowly adjusting to the sight of the twin fox spirits walking its streets, Naruto had insisted they needed to understand how to fight together properly. "You sure about this?" Kakashi called from his perch on a nearby tree branch, his ever-present book closed for once as he observed with genuine interest. "Fighting against 2 Bijou, even in humanoid form, seems like a recipe for ending up in the hospital." "I need to know our limits," Naruto replied, settling into a fighting stance. "If enemies come after us, and they will, we need to work as a unit, not 3 separate fighters." Kurama stretched, her 9 tails fanning out behind her in a display that was both beautiful and intimidating. "He has a point. We've spent years lending him our chakra, but we've never actually fought alongside him as independent entities. The dynamics are completely different." Kurama nodded, her silver-accented kimono shimmering as she moved into position. "Besides, I'm curious to see what we're capable of now. In our manifested forms, we have access to abilities we couldn't use while sealed." "Alright then," Kakashi said, pulling out a stopwatch. "Standard combat assessment. Naruto, try to land a hit on either of them. Ladies, don't actually kill him. Tsunade would have my head." "Begin!" Naruto launched forward immediately, creating a dozen shadow clones that spread out to surround the sisters. It was a tactic he'd used thousands of times, and the clones moved with practiced precision, attacking from multiple angles simultaneously. Kurama's response was elegant and devastating. She spun in place, her tails extending and hardening into weapons that swept through the clones like a scythe through grass. Each tail moved independently, creating a defensive perimeter that was nearly impossible to penetrate. But Naruto had expected that. While Kurama was occupied with the clones, he'd used the distraction to circle around to Kurama, a Rasengan forming in his palm as he closed the distance. Kurama smiled serenely and simply vanished. Naruto's Rasengan hit empty air, and he stumbled forward in surprise. "What the?" "In release," Kurama's voice came from behind him. He spun to find her standing there, completely unruffled. "Unlike my sister's more direct yang-based abilities, I specialize in illusions, perception manipulation, and spiritual techniques. You weren't attacking empty air, you were attacking where your senses told you I was, while I was actually 3 steps to your left." "That's cheating," Naruto protested. "That's strategy," Kurama corrected, appearing at his other side. Before he could react, one of her tails wrapped around his ankle and swept his feet out from under him. He hit the ground hard, the breath knocked from his lungs. "And you're telegraphing your moves?" Kurama continued, offering him a hand up. "We can feel your intentions through the bond before you even act on them. You need to learn to mask your emotions and thoughts during combat, or every enemy who can sense chakra will know what you're planning." Naruto accepted her hand, pulling himself to his feet with a rueful grin. "Okay, point taken. But if we can feel each other's intentions, doesn't that work both ways? I should be able to predict your moves too." "In theory," Kurama agreed. "But we've had millennia to master control over our spiritual presence. You've had a week. Try again, but this time, don't just fight with your body, fight with your mind. Use our connection instead of ignoring it." They reset, and Naruto closed his eyes, focusing inward. Through the soul tether, He could feel both sisters, Kurama's fierce, burning presence like a wildfire barely contained, Kurama's cooler, deeper energy like moonlight on water. He could sense their positions, their readiness, even the subtle shifts in their attention. When Kakashi called for them to begin again, Naruto didn't move immediately. Instead, he reached out through the bond, not with words but with intent. He projected an image, a memory of them eating ramen together, the warmth and companionship of that moment. Both sisters hesitated for just a fraction of a second, surprised by the emotional contact. That was all Naruto needed. He flickered forward with a speed that surprised even himself, his fist connecting with Kurama's shoulder in a light tap before she could raise her defenses. "Point to Naruto," Kakashi called out, actually sounding impressed. Kurama rubbed her shoulder, her expression torn between irritation and pride. "You used our bond against us. That's actually quite clever and effective," Kurama added, though she was smiling. "You're learning faster than I expected. But now that we know that trick, it won't work again. Shall we continue?" The training session lasted another 2 hours, and by the end of it, all three of them were exhausted but exhilarated. They'd discovered that when they synchronized their chakra properly, Naruto could access their abilities in ways he never managed before. Kurama's raw destructive power combined with Kurama's subtle manipulation techniques, all filtered through Naruto's own innovative fighting style. More importantly, they'd learned to communicate in the heat of battle, their thoughts and intentions flowing between them with increasing ease. It wasn't perfect. There were still moments of confusion or misalignment, but the potential was staggering. "That was impressive," Kakashi admitted as they cooled down. "You three have only been training together for a week, and you're already developing combination techniques that most teams take months to coordinate. The bond between you really does make a difference. It's more than just tactical advantage," Kurama said quietly. "Every time we synchronize like that, the bond deepens. We understand each other better, trust each other more completely. It's," she paused, searching for words, "intimate in a way I didn't fully anticipate." Naruto felt his face heat up at the word intimate, but he understood what she meant. When they'd been perfectly synchronized during the fight, he'd felt everything they felt. Kurama's fierce joy in battle, Kurama's quiet satisfaction in a strategy well executed, and beneath it all, a profound sense of rightness in fighting beside him. "The question is," Kurama said, stretching out her tails, "what happens when we push even further? We've barely scratched the surface of what soul-bonded entities can achieve together." Before anyone could respond, a messenger hawk landed on Kakashi's shoulder. He read the attached note, and his visible eye widened slightly. "Interesting. Tsunade wants to see all of you immediately. It seems we have visitors from Kumogakure." The Hokage's office was more crowded than Naruto had ever seen it. Tsunade sat behind her desk, her expression carefully neutral. Shikaku Nara stood to her right, arms crossed in his characteristic thinking pose. To her left was Kakashi, who must have used the body flicker to arrive before them, and seated across from Tsunade were three visitors from Kumogakure. The Raikage, his brother Killer Bee, and Darui, the Raikage's right hand. The Raikage's eyes locked onto Naruto and the twin fox spirits as they entered, and his expression was unreadable. Bee, on the other hand, grinned widely, already bobbing his head to some internal rhythm. "Yo, Naruto! Heard the news, it's true? The Ninetales split into two? That's crazy, yeah. A whole new crew." Bee rapped, earning an exasperated sigh from his brother. "Killer Bee," the Raikage said warningly, though there was no real heat in it. He turned his attention back to Naruto and the sisters. "So it's true. The Ninetales has manifested in two separate forms. We have names," Kurama said coolly, her tails swaying behind her in a subtle display of power. "I am Kurama, Yan half of the Ninetales. This is my sister, Kurama, the Yin half, and we would appreciate being addressed as individuals rather than components of a weapon." The Raikage's eyebrows rose slightly. "Direct. I can respect that." He leaned forward, his massive frame making the chair creak. "I'll be blunt, the other Kage are concerned. For years, we've maintained a careful balance of power. Each village has one bijou, ensuring no single nation becomes too dominant. But now Konoha effectively has 3 bijou, you two and the 8 tails that Killer Bee hosts. The 8 tails is in Kumo, not Konoha, Naruto pointed out. Technicalities, Darui drawled. The alliance between our villages is strong, and you personally have connections with every Jinchuriki. From an outside perspective, it looks like a consolidation of power. We're not weapons to be counted and balanced, Kurama said firmly but without hostility. We're sentient beings who've chosen to stand with Naruto. Should we have less right to self-determination than any human simply because we possess great power? He suddenly became serious, which was rare enough that everyone in the room took notice. Yuki and I have been talking, he said, referring to the 8 tails by name. About what you've done, how you've grown, the bond you've got with Naruto. It's what every Jinchuriki dreams of, you see? True partnership, no strings. Yuki says the 9 tails, sorry, Kurama and Kurama, have found something real, something worth protecting, yeah? The Raikage looked at his brother with an expression that mixed fondness and exasperation. B makes a point, even if he insists on making it in rhyme. The relationship between Jinchuriki and Bijou has always been complicated at best, hostile at worst. What you've achieved is unprecedented. But unprecedented things make people nervous. What exactly are you asking for? Tsunade interjected. Kumobikure didn't send the Raikage himself just to express concern. I want assurances, the Raikage said bluntly. That Konoha won't use this development as leverage. That the twin Ninetails won't be deployed as weapons of intimidation. And I want to see for myself what kind of beings they are. Whether they're truly partners with Naruto, or if they're manipulating him for their own ends. Kurama's eyes flashed dangerously, and Naruto felt heat building in the air around them. You dare. It's okay, Naruto said quietly, placing a hand on her shoulder. Through their bond, he sent waves of calm, of trust. They have a right to be concerned. We'd wonder the same thing if the situation was reversed. He looked directly at the Raikage. You want to see what kind of beings they are? Talk to them. Ask them questions. They're standing right here. Treat them like the intelligent individuals they are instead of discussing them like objects. The Raikage studied Naruto for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Fair enough. He turned his full attention to Kurama and Kurama. Why did you choose to stay with Naruto? You're manifested now. You could leave, go anywhere, be free of human conflicts entirely. Why remain? Kurama answered first, her voice soft but unwavering. Because for 19 years, I've watched Naruto Uzumaki grow from a child rejected by his own village into a man who refuses to give up on anyone, even on beings like us who were sealed inside him against our will. He never blamed us for what we were or what was done to him because of us. He saw past the monster to the person underneath. And because he's an idiot who needs someone to keep him alive, Kurama added, though her tone was affectionate. But he's our idiot. He earned our loyalty, our respect, and yes, our affection through years of perseverance and genuine kindness. We stay because there's nowhere else we'd rather be and no one else we'd rather be with. He was nodding along, a huge grin on his face. That's what I'm talking about. Real connection, no faking. True partnership in the making. Even Darui looked impressed. That's actually pretty reasonable. Not what I expected from legendary monsters. We've never been monsters, Kurama said gently. We've been treated as such, which made us act the part. But Naruto showed us another way. He showed us we could be more. The Raikage sat back, seeming to come to some internal decision. Alright. I can work with this. But I'm going to need you to prove it, not to me, necessarily, but to the other Kage. There's a 5 Kage summit scheduled in 2 months. I want you 3 there, willing to answer questions and demonstrate that this bond of yours is legitimate. We'll be there, Naruto said immediately. Tsunade cleared her throat. Was there anything else, Raikage? Just one more thing, A said, his expression softening slightly. Congratulations, Naruto. Not many people get to form genuine bonds with their Bijou. Treasure it. After the Kumobikure delegation left, Tsunade dismissed everyone except Naruto, Kurama, and Kurama. She poured herself a cup of sake. It was only noon, but Naruto had learned not to comment on the Hokage's drinking habits. That went better than I expected, Tsunade admitted. The Raikage could have demanded restrictions or even called for your separation. Instead, he's giving you a chance to prove yourselves. Don't waste it. We won't, Naruto promised. Good. Because there's another matter we need to discuss. Tsunade's expression became serious. I've been receiving reports from our intelligence network. There are rumors of a group calling themselves the Spirit Liberation Front, rogue ninja and spiritual entities who believe Bijou and other powerful beings should be free from all human influence. They see your situation as either a betrayal or an opportunity, depending on who you ask. Kurama's tails tensed. Extremists. They exist in the spirit realm too, beings who hate humans for imprisoning and using yokai, kitsune, and other entities as weapons or servants. Could they pose a threat? Tsunade asked. Potentially, Kurama said. If they're organized and determined enough. They might try to rescue us from Naruto, not understanding or caring that we've chosen this bond willingly. Or they might see us as traitors to our kind and target all three of us. Great, Naruto muttered. As if politics wasn't complicated enough. I'll have A and B you keep watch, Tsunade decided. In the meantime, continue your training. If you're going to represent Konoha at the 5 Kage Summit, you need to be at your absolute best. Dismissed. That evening found the three of them on the roof of Naruto's apartment building, watching the sun set over Konoha. It had become a habit over the past week, finding quiet moments together away from the politics and complications of their new situation. Do you ever regret it? Naruto asked suddenly. Being bound to me, I mean. Your whole lives have been turned upside down because of that seal. Kurama snorted. My whole life was already upside down. I spent decades being passed around like a weapon, sealed into different hosts, treated as nothing more than a source of power. At least with you, I'm treated like a person. I don't regret it either, Kurama added, leaning against Naruto's shoulder in a gesture that had become increasingly natural. If anything, I regret all the years I spent dormant, unable to truly interact with you. There's so much I missed. You're making up for it now, Naruto said with a smile. Both of you are. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the village lights begin to twinkle as darkness fell. Naruto was acutely aware of Kurama's warmth against his side, of Kurama's presence on his other side, of the constant hum of their connection through the soul tether. Naruto, Kurama said eventually, her voice unusually hesitant. About what I said earlier, about the bond potentially evolving into something more. I need you to understand that we're not pressuring you. Soul tethers don't require romantic or physical components to function. If you only ever see us as companions or friends, that's... I know, Naruto interrupted gently. And I appreciate that. But... He paused, trying to find the right words. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. You're both beautiful, brilliant, powerful beings who know me better than anyone else ever could. How could I not develop feelings? But... Kurama prompted softly. But I'm also terrified, Naruto admitted. I've never been good at relationships. My childhood didn't exactly prepare me for normal human interactions, let alone soul-bonded romantic entanglements with ancient fox spirits. What if I mess this up? What if I can't be what you need? Kurama laughed, a sound like crackling flames. Naruto, we've been inside your head. We know every insecurity, every fear, every doubt you've ever had. And we're still here. That should tell you something. We're not expecting perfection, Kurama added. We're expecting you, the sane person who never gives up, who sees the best in everyone, who turns enemies into friends through sheer stubbornness. That's all we've ever wanted. Naruto felt something warm and tight in his chest, an emotion so powerful it almost hurt. So what do we do? How does this work? We take it one day at a time, Kurama suggested. We learn together, grow together, figure out what this bond means for all of us. There's no rulebook for soul-tethered trios consisting of 2 fox spirits and 1 very stubborn ninja. I can work with that, Naruto said, feeling some of his anxiety ease. One day at a time. Kurama shifted closer, and suddenly Naruto was very aware that he was sitting between 2 incredibly beautiful women who were looking at him with expressions he'd never seen directed at him before. Warm, affectionate, and unmistakably interested. Can I try something? Kurama asked, her voice softer than usual. Sure? She leaned in slowly, giving him plenty of time to pull away if he wanted. When her lips met his, it was gentle, almost tentative. nothing like the fierce personality she usually displayed. The kiss was brief, barely more than a brush of lips, but Naruto felt it all the way down to his toes. Through the soul tether, he could feel her nervousness, her hope, her affection. When she pulled back, her cheeks were faintly flushed. "I've wanted to do that for a while now." "My turn," Kurama said with a small smile. Her kiss was different, softer, more patient, like moonlight compared to Kurama's sunfire. But it was just as affecting, just as perfect. When they separated, all three of them were smiling, and Naruto felt like he might actually float away from sheer happiness. "So," he said, his voice slightly breathless, "I guess we're doing this." "We're doing this," both sisters confirmed, and their unified response made him laugh. Below them, Konoha continued its evening routines, unaware that on a rooftop above, something extraordinary was beginning, not with grand declarations or dramatic gestures, but with quiet acceptance, gentle affection, and the promise of something beautiful growing from the bonds they shared. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. The 5 Kage summit loomed on the horizon. The Spirit Liberation Front posed an unknown threat, and the village was still adjusting to their presence. But tonight, none of that mattered. Tonight they were simply three souls bound together, discovering what that bond could mean, and that was enough. 3 weeks had passed since the evening on the rooftop, and Naruto's relationship with Kurama and Kurama had deepened in ways both expected and surprising. They'd fallen into a rhythm, training together in the mornings, handling missions and village duties during the day, and spending evenings exploring what it meant to be bound so intimately to one another. The village, for the most part, had begun to accept the twin fox spirit's presence. Children no longer ran in fear when they passed, shopkeepers greeted them with cautious politeness, and some of Naruto's friends had even started inviting all three of them to social gatherings. But not everyone was pleased. Naruto first noticed the signs during a routine mission briefing. Certain jonin avoided making eye contact with him, conversations stopped abruptly when he entered rooms, and there were more ANBU shadows following them than strictly necessary for protection. "Something's wrong," Kurama observed as they walked through the village market one afternoon. Her ears twitched, picking up whispered conversations. "People are afraid again. Not of us specifically, of what we represent." Kurama's tails swished in agitation. "I can feel it too. There's a current of unease running through the village. Someone's been spreading fear." Their concerns were confirmed that evening when Shikamaru appeared at Naruto's apartment, looking even more exhausted than usual. "We need to talk," he said without preamble. "And you're not going to like it." Inside, Shikamaru accepted a cup of tea from Kurama before settling into a chair with a heavy sigh. "There's been a power play within the council, led by Danzo's former associates, and some of the more conservative clan heads. They're calling for an emergency session tomorrow to address the Ninetales situation." Naruto felt anger flare in his chest. "Let me guess. They want Kurama and Kurama sealed away again." "Worse," Shikamaru said grimly. "They're proposing that the sisters be separated from you entirely, sealed into different hosts in different villages as a gesture of good faith to maintain the balance of power among the nations." The temperature in the room dropped several degrees as both fox spirits' chakra spiked in response to their fury. "They want to tear us apart?" Kurama's voice was dangerously quiet. "After everything we've achieved, everything we've proven? Who's leading this?" Kurama demanded, her usually calm demeanor cracking. "Council Elder Hamura, backed by several merchant families who claim that having 2 manifested bijou in the village is bad for business. Apparently some trading partners are nervous. They've also got support from a few clan heads who never trusted the bijou to begin with." Naruto stood abruptly, pacing the room. "Tsunade wouldn't allow this. She approved our bond." "Tsunade's influence has limits," Shikamaru explained. "The council has the power to overrule her on matters of village security if they can gather enough support. And they've been working behind the scenes for weeks, gathering allies and building their case." "What case?" Naruto demanded. "We haven't done anything wrong. That's not how politics works, and you know it. They don't need proof of wrongdoing, they just need to create enough fear and uncertainty." Shikamaru pulled out a scroll, unrolling it to reveal a list of names. "They've been spreading rumors that the soul tether makes you a liability because harming one of you harms all three, that the sisters are manipulating you through the bond, That Konoha is becoming too dependent on bijou power instead of developing its own shinobi. Kurama read the scroll, her expression growing darker. These arguments are sophistry. They're using legitimate political concerns as cover for what's really prejudice and fear. I know, Shikamaru agreed. But sophistry can be effective if it's presented well. And Hamura is an experienced politician who knows exactly which fears to exploit. What are our options? Kurama asked, forcibly calming herself. Tsunade's calling in favors, trying to secure enough votes to shut this down. But it's going to be close. You three need to attend the council session and defend your bond publicly. Make them see you as people, not weapons or political tools. After Shikamaru left, the three of them sat in heavy silence. Naruto could feel the turmoil roiling through the soul tether. Kurama's rage barely contained, Kurama's fear masquerading as calm calculation, and his own desperate determination not to lose what they built together. This is my fault, Naruto said quietly. If I'd been more careful, more political. Stop, Kurama interrupted firmly. This isn't your fault. This is the fault of people who refuse to see past their own prejudices and fears. She's right, Kurama added, moving to stand beside him. We knew this wouldn't be easy. We knew there would be opposition. But we also knew it would be worth it. Naruto pulled both of them into an embrace, drawing comfort from their physical presence and the warm reassurance flowing through their bond. I won't let them separate us. I don't care what I have to do. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Kurama said softly. But if it does, we'll face it together. The council chamber was packed the next morning. Every seat was filled, and observers lined the walls. This session had drawn attention from across the village. Naruto recognized faces from every clan, representatives from the merchant guilds, jonin commanders, and even some academy instructors. The atmosphere was tense, charged with anticipation and underlying hostility. Tsunade sat at the head of the council table, her expression carved from stone. Hamura and Koharu flanked her, both looking satisfied in a way that made Naruto's stomach churn. The clan heads occupied their usual positions, their faces revealing little. Naruto, Kurama, and Kurama stood in the center of the chamber, facing the assembled council. They dressed formally for the occasion, Naruto in his best jonin uniform, the sisters in elegant kimonos that managed to be both beautiful and subtly intimidating. This emergency session of the Konoha Council is now in order, Tsunade announced, her voice cutting through the murmurs. Elder Hamura has requested the floor. Hamura stood, his aged face grave. Thank you, Hokage-sama. Esteemed council members, I come before you today with concerns that affect the very security of our village. 3 weeks ago, we allowed the manifested forms of the Nine Tails, divided into two entities, to remain in Konoha based on assurances that they posed no threat. He paused for effect, letting his words sink in. But since then, troubling reports have reached this council. Reports of chakra surges that rattled windows across entire districts. Reports of the Uzumaki boy becoming increasingly isolated from his peers, spending most of his time with these entities. Reports from our intelligence network that other villages view this development with alarm and suspicion. Those chakra surges were during authorized training sessions, Naruto interjected, but Tsunade raised a hand to silence him. You'll have your chance to speak, Naruto. Continue, Hamura. The question before us is simple, Hamura said, addressing the room. Can we, in good conscience, allow two bijou to roam freely within our village, bound only by the tenuous claim of a soul tethered to a young man barely out of his teenage years? What happens if this bond breaks? What happens if the entities decide Konoha is no longer to their liking? What happens if our enemies exploit this connection to strike at all three simultaneously? Murmurs of agreement rippled through parts of the chamber. Hamura pressed his advantage. I propose that we take action before crisis forces our hand. The Nine Tails should be properly sealed, separated and placed in controlled circumstances that ensure village security while still respecting the entity's sentience. Perhaps sealed into willing volunteers who understand the responsibility, with appropriate safeguards. You mean imprisoned, Kurama said coldly? Let's not dress it up in pleasant language. You want us locked away again because our existence makes you uncomfortable. Not imprisoned, Koharu interjected smoothly. Protected, contained, for your safety as well as ours. Surely you understand that your presence creates political complications. Complications that can be managed through diplomacy rather than imprisonment, Kurama countered. We've been cooperative, transparent, and have caused no harm to anyone in this village. Yet, said a voice from the clan head section. Naruto turned to see it was Kaido Shimura, distant relative of Danzo, speaking. You've caused no harm yet. But can you guarantee you never will? Can young Uzumaki guarantee that this bond won't be exploited by our enemies? Can you guarantee your own clan members won't betray the village? Naruto shot back. Danzo was your relative, and he nearly destroyed Konoha from within multiple times. Should we imprison all Shimuras based on what one of you might do? Angry muttering erupted, and Tsunade had to call for order. Naruto makes a valid point, if inelegantly. We cannot imprison beings based on hypothetical future actions. With respect, Hokage-sama, Hamura said, Bijou are not ordinary beings. Their power is too great to be left to chance. History has shown us what happens when Bijou run rampant. The fourth Hokage died sealing the Nine Tails. Countless lives were lost. Can we risk that happening again? That happened because I was being controlled, Kurama snarled, her chakra flaring enough to make several council members flinch. By Madara Uchiha, using a Sharingan. I had no choice, no agency. But I do now, and I choose to protect this village because Naruto protects it. Because despite everything, despite being sealed, despite being feared and hated, he showed me what it means to be more than a weapon. Kurama stepped forward, her voice carrying despite its gentleness. You speak of history, Elder Hamura, but you conveniently forget the more recent history. How Naruto and the Bijou Alliance saved this world during the Fourth War. How cooperation between humans and Bijou achieved what force and sealing never could. We are trying to build on that legacy, and you would destroy it because of fear. Fear is not irrational when the threat is real, Kaido Shimura argued. You claim cooperation, but you're bound to one person. What happens when he dies? What happens in 50 years when Naruto Uzumaki is gone and you remain? Will you still honor this cooperation, or will you seek new hosts, new purposes? The question hung in the air, and Naruto felt both sisters' emotional response through the bond, grief at the thought of his eventual mortality, determination to honor their commitment regardless. When Naruto dies, Kurama said quietly, a part of us will die with him. That's what soul tethers mean. Our lives are intertwined now. We will grieve him as no one else could, because we will feel his absence in our very souls. And yes, we will continue to protect what he loved, what he built, because that's what you do for those you bond with. Pretty words, Hamura said dismissively. But words are not guarantees. I call for a vote on my proposal, that the twin Ninetales be separated from Naruto Uzumaki and sealed under appropriate safeguards until such time as we can ensure village security. I have an alternative proposal, a new voice rang out. Everyone turned to see Hayashi Hyuga standing, his Byakugan eyes fixed on the trio. Before we vote on imprisonment, let us vote on a different question. Have Naruto Uzumaki, Kurama, and Kurama given us any reason to distrust them since the manifestation occurred? That's not the point, Hamura began. It's exactly the point, Hayashi interrupted, and the steel in his voice made even the elder pause. You're asking us to act on fear and speculation rather than evidence. I've observed these three over the past weeks. I've seen them train together, integrate into village life, handle themselves with remarkable restraint despite significant provocation. My daughter speaks highly of their character. Are we really going to punish them for crimes they haven't committed and might never commit? Shikaka Nara stood next. I've reviewed every mission report, every incident record, every piece of intelligence related to this situation. The only conflicts have been initiated by villagers uncomfortable with the sisters' presence, not by the sisters themselves. Hamura's concerns are based on hypotheticals, not facts. I support Hayashi's alternative, Choza Akimichi announced. Let's vote on the actual question. Do we trust Naruto and his bonded companions? Hamura's face darkened. You're oversimplifying a complex security matter. No, Tsunade said, standing. They're cutting through political maneuvering to address the real issue. You've spent weeks building a case based on fear, Hamura. It's time to counter that with facts and trust. All in favor of Hayashi's proposal to table the imprisonment motion and instead vote confidence in Naruto, Kurama, And Kurama? Hands began to rise throughout the chamber. The clan heads were nearly unanimous. Only the Shimura representative abstained. The merchant representatives were split, but enough voted in favor to tip the balance. Even some of the conservative council members, swayed by the arguments, raised their hands. When the count was complete, the motion had passed with a clear majority. Hamura's expression was thunderous, but he had no choice but to accept the result. Very well. But I want it on record that I believe we're making a grave mistake. So noted, Tsunade said coolly. Now, unless there's other business, this session is adjourned. After the council chamber emptied, Naruto, Kurama, and Kurama found themselves alone with Tsunade, Shikaku, Hayashi, and Kakashi. That was closer than I would have liked, Tsunade admitted, pouring sake for everyone, and adding water to Naruto's cup despite his protests. Hamura nearly had enough votes. If Hayashi hadn't reframed the question. Political instinct, Hayashi said modestly. Fear is powerful, but so is trust, especially trust in someone who's proven themselves repeatedly. Naruto has earned that trust. It was simply a matter of reminding the council of that fact. Thank you, Naruto said sincerely. All of you. I know you put your own political capital on the line for us. You've done the same for others countless times, Shikaku replied. Consider this repayment. But Naruto. Hamura isn't going to give up. He'll wait, gather more support, try again when circumstances favor him. You need to be careful, and you need to continue proving him wrong, Kakashi added. Every day, every interaction, show the village that this bond is genuine and beneficial. Don't give the opposition ammunition, Kurama snorted. So we have to be perfect while they get to spread fear and lies? Seems fair. It's not fair, Hayashi agreed. But it's reality. You're breaking new ground, creating something unprecedented, that will always face resistance from those who prefer the familiar, even when the familiar is prejudice and hatred. Kurama nodded slowly. We understand. And we'll be careful. But there's something else, isn't there? I can feel it. You didn't ask us to stay just to offer warnings. Tsunade's expression became grave. You're perceptive. Yes, there's more. We've received intelligence about the Spirit Liberation Front. They're more organized than we initially thought, and they're planning something. We don't know what yet, but your names have come up in intercepted communications. Meaning? Naruto asked. Meaning they're either planning to recruit you, kidnap you, or kill you. We're not sure which, Kakashi said bluntly. Possibly all three depending on how their internal factions align. We're increasing security, but you three need to stay vigilant. We're also moving up the timeline for the 5 Kage Summit, Tsunade continued. It's now scheduled for 2 weeks from now instead of 2 months. The Raikage agreed that addressing this situation sooner rather than later is in everyone's best interest. Naruto felt the weight of it all settling on his shoulders. Political enemies within the village, extremist threats from without, and a diplomatic summit where they'd be under scrutiny from every major power in the shinobi world. Through the soul tether, he felt Kurama and Kurama's steady presence, their unwavering support. They were afraid too, he could feel it, but they were also determined. They'd face whatever came together. 2 weeks, he said. We can work with that. We'll train harder, prepare better. Whatever they throw at us, we'll be ready. That's what I like to hear, Tsunade said with approval. Now get out of here. You've had enough politics for one day. That night, back in Naruto's apartment, the three of them collapsed onto the couch in a tangle of limbs and tails. The stress of the day had left them all exhausted, but there was also a sense of relief. They'd survived another challenge, overcome another obstacle. I meant what I said in there, Kurama murmured, her head resting on Naruto's shoulder. About what happens when you're gone. Just so you know. I know, Naruto said softly. I could feel it through the bond. You both meant every word. Does it bother you? Kurama asked from his other side. Knowing that we'll outlive you by centuries? That eventually you'll be gone and we'll remain? Naruto was quiet for a moment, considering. A little, he admitted. But mostly it makes me want to make the time we have count. Whether it's 50 years or 100 years or however long I've got, I want to spend it making memories with you. Building something beautiful that lasts even after I'm gone. You're such a sap, Kurama said, but her voice was thick with emotion. An absolute, hopeless romantic. You love it, Naruto countered. Yeah, she admitted. We really do, Kurama shifted, turning to look at both of them. We should make it official. The bond, I mean. In Fox spirit culture, there's a ceremony, a formal recognition of soul tethers as permanent partnerships. It's not quite marriage in the human sense, but it's similar. It would send a message to both our enemies and our allies that we're committed to this path. A ceremony? Naruto's heart started racing. Like a wedding? Similar, Kurama confirmed. It would involve rituals, vows, witnesses. In the spirit realm, it's considered binding and sacred, and it might help with the politics. Harder for the council to argue for separation if we formally committed to the bond in front of the entire village. Kurama sat up, her expression serious. She's right. It would also protect us legally. As your recognized partners in a formal bond, we'd have rights and status that we currently lack. No one could propose sealing us without going through you first. Naruto looked between them, his mind whirling. Marriage, or the fox spirit equivalent, to both of them. It was crazy, unprecedented, and would probably cause even more controversy than they were already facing. It was also exactly what his heart wanted. Okay, he said. Let's do it. Let's make this bond official. When? Traditionally, soul tether ceremonies happen during the full moon, Kurama said. The next one is in 10 days, just before we leave for the summit. Perfect timing, Kurama said with a predatory grin. We'll show them all, the council, the other villages, these spirit liberation front zealots, that we're not afraid, that we're committed to each other, and to this future we're building. 10 days, Naruto repeated, a smile spreading across his face. Not a lot of time to plan a wedding. Good thing we have friends who love a challenge, Kurama said warmly, as they sat together planning their ceremony, discussing traditions and vows and how to blend human and fox spirit customs. Naruto felt a profound sense of rightness. Yes, there would be challenges ahead, the summit, the Spirit Liberation Front, the ever-present political opposition, but they would face it all as partners, as equals, as something more precious than he'd ever dared to dream, and in 10 days the world would know it. The announcement of the upcoming soul tether ceremony sent ripples through Konoha. For some, it was a romantic gesture that proved the genuine nature of the bond. For others, it was yet another example of Naruto's reckless disregard for convention. And for a select few, it was an opportunity. Naruto discovered just how seriously his friends took wedding planning when he woke up the morning after the announcement to find Ino, Sakura, Hinata, and Tenten in his apartment, armed with notebooks, fabric samples, and terrifying levels of organizational enthusiasm. We have 10 days to plan the most important ceremony in recent shinobi history, Ino declared, spreading samples across every available surface. No pressure, but this needs to be perfect. I didn't realize you were all involved, Naruto said, still groggy and dressed in his sleeping clothes, an old orange t-shirt and sweatpants. Are you kidding? Sakura said, not looking up from her checklist. One of our best friends is getting married, sort of married, to 2 ancient fox spirits in a ceremony that blends human and yokai traditions. This is the most interesting thing to happen in the village since the war ended. Of course we're involved. Kurama emerged from the bedroom, looking significantly more put together than Naruto despite also having just woken up. Her crimson hair was slightly tousled, and she wore a simple sleeping kimono that somehow looked elegant on her. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but we haven't actually discussed what we want the ceremony to include. That's why we're here, Tenten said brightly, pulling out scrolls covered in notes. We've been researching traditional fox spirit bonding ceremonies. Did you know there are 17 different types of kitsune marriage rites depending on the region and the spirit's rank? Kurama appeared beside her sister, equally sleep-rumpled and somehow equally elegant. Actually, there are 23 if you include the variants practiced in the outer spirit realms, but most aren't applicable to soul tether ceremonies specifically. The kunoichi stared at her for a moment before Ino grinned. I like you? Okay, so talk us through what a soul tether ceremony actually involves. We'll figure out how to make it work in Konoha. What followed was several hours of intense planning. Kurama and Kurama explained that traditional soul tether ceremonies involved 3 main components. The declaration of intent, where all parties publicly stated their commitment. The chakra intertwining, where their energies were formally synchronized in front of witnesses. and the spirit marking, where each partner bore a visible sign of the bond. Spirit markings are usually placed here. Kurama indicated her collarbone, or here, she touched her wrist, and they glow with chakra when the bonded partners are near each other. It's both decorative and functional, a way to prove the bond's authenticity. That's actually beautiful, Hinata said softly, her Byakugan eyes already analyzing the chakra patterns. I can see how the marking would work with your existing bond structure. What about the venue? Sakura asked. This needs to be public to have the political impact you want, but also intimate enough to feel genuine. The Forest of Death, Naruto suggested, then at everyone's skeptical looks, elaborated. Hear me out, it's where Kurama and Kurama first manifested. It's got significance for us. Plus, it's large enough to accommodate a big crowd but still feels natural, wild. Appropriate for fox spirits. Kurama considered this, her tail swaying thoughtfully. I actually like that. The Forest of Death has strong natural chakra. It would amplify the ceremony's spiritual components. I can work with that, Ino said, already sketching ideas. We'll need lighting, lots of it. Paper lanterns along the paths, maybe some controlled fire techniques for atmosphere. And flowers. A knock at the door interrupted the planning session. Kakashi entered, followed by Shikamaru and, surprisingly, Killer Bee and Yujuto Ni, the two-tails Jinchuriki from Kumogakure. Hope we're not interrupting, Kakashi said, though his amused eye crinkle suggested he knew exactly what he was interrupting. But we have some concerns about security for this ceremony. Yo, Naruto! Heard about your big day. Got something to say? Bee rapped, grinning widely. Matatabi and I want in, to help keep things secure and zen. Yujuto smiled, more reserved than her village mate but equally friendly. The Raikage sent us ahead of the summit. Officially, we're here for diplomatic relations. Unofficially, we're here to help. Matatabi has been insistent about supporting what you're doing. The Two Tails wants to help. Kurama asked, surprised. All the Bijou are watching this, Yujuto explained. What you're achieving with Naruto, true partnership, public recognition, a legitimate bond ceremony, it's what many of them have dreamed of. Matatabi wants to ensure nothing disrupts it. She's right, came a feminine voice in Naruto's mind, not Kurama or Kuramai, but deeper, older. Through his connection to Kurama, he could sense Matatabi's presence. You're setting a precedent, kid, proving that our kind can build lives beyond being weapons. We won't let anyone destroy that. Thank you, Naruto said, genuinely touched. But what security concerns are we talking about? Shikamaru unrolled a map on the table, displacing several fabric samples much to Ino's irritation. We've identified 3 potential threats. First, the Spirit Liberation Front. We have intelligence suggesting they're planning something major, and a public ceremony would be an ideal target. Second, political extremists within Konoha who might try to disrupt the ceremony to prove their point about the danger you represent. Third, other villages who might see this as an opportunity to eliminate a perceived threat. Troublesome, Kurama muttered, unconsciously echoing Shikamaru's favorite phrase. We've got a plan, Kakashi assured them. Heavy ANBU presence disguised as regular attendees, barrier specialists creating layered defensive seals around the Forest of Death, and with Yujuto and Bee's help, we'll have Bijou-level backup if anything goes seriously wrong. Plus all your friends will be there, Sakura added. And most of us are Jonin level or higher. Anyone trying to attack the ceremony will have to go through basically every strong shinobi in Konoha. It's almost a shame for anyone who tries, Tenten said with a grin. They'll get destroyed. The planning continued well into the afternoon, with more people arriving to contribute. Lee offered to help with physical preparations. Choji coordinated catering, much to Kurama's delight when she learned there would be food, and even Gaara sent a message offering the Sand Village's support and congratulations. By evening, they had the skeleton of a plan. The ceremony would take place in the Forest of Death at sunset in 9 days, combining traditional fox spirit rituals with elements familiar to Konoha residents. The village would be invited to attend, making it both a personal celebration and a public statement. After everyone left, Naruto collapsed on the couch with Kurama and Kuramai, all 3 exhausted from the whirlwind of planning. Is it always like this? Kuramai asked. Human wedding preparations? I have no idea, Naruto admitted. I've never been to a wedding, let alone planned one. Neither have we, Kurama said. Soul tether ceremonies in the spirit realm are usually more spontaneous. Two beings recognize their bond, perform the rituals, and that's it. All this planning and politics is a lot, Naruto finished. But I think I get why everyone's so invested. This isn't just about us, it's symbolic. We're proving something important. That different kinds of beings can choose to be together. That bonds don't have to be forced or controlled to work. When did you become so wise? Kurama teased, but her affection was clear through the soul tether. I have good teachers, Naruto replied, pulling them both closer. 3 days before the ceremony, disaster struck. Naruto was in the market with Kurama and Kuramai, gathering supplies for the upcoming event, when the first explosion rocked the village. They felt it before they heard it, a massive surge of hostile chakra from the direction of the Hokage tower. That's not normal combat, Kurama said immediately, her sensory abilities analyzing the chakra signature. That's spiritual energy, yokai, but corrupted somehow. They ran toward the disturbance, arriving to find chaos. The Hokage tower was under attack by beings that looked like twisted amalgamations of human and animal features, fox spirits, but wrong, their chakra dark and unstable. The Spirit Liberation Front, Kurama snarled, recognizing the technique. They've used force transformation jutsu on captured yokai, turning them into weapons. The corrupted spirits were causing havoc, attacking anyone nearby. Enbu engaged them, but the spirits fought with desperate, mindless fury that made them unpredictable and dangerous. Naruto! Tsunade's voice came through his communication earpiece. We've got multiple breach points around the village. They're after you three. This whole attack is a distraction. As if summoning them, 3 figures emerged from the smoke and debris. They wore masks carved to resemble various animal spirits, and their chakra felt fundamentally wrong. Human and spirit mixed in ways that violated natural law. Naruto Uzumaki, the central figure, spoke, her voice distorted by her mask. And the traitor foxes who've shackled themselves to human weakness. The Spirit Liberation Front has a message for you. Let me guess, Kurama said coldly, her tails spreading in a defensive array. Join you or die. Join us? The woman laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. You've proven you're beyond salvation. You've chosen to bind yourselves to a human in the most intimate way possible. A soul tether that will outlive his pathetic lifespan and leave you mourning for centuries. You've betrayed everything our kind stands for. Our kind? Kurama stepped forward, her chakra rising. You don't speak for fox spirits. You're extremists who've hurt and enslaved other yokai to serve your twisted ideology. Those spirits you've corrupted, they're victims, not soldiers. They're martyrs. Another attacker shouted. Sacrificing themselves to prove that humans and spirits cannot coexist peacefully. Every spirit you save, every treaty you broker, every bond you form, it's all lies built on oppression. You're insane, Naruto said flatly. And you're hurting innocent people to make your point. That ends now. The battle erupted with explosive force. The masked figures were powerful, wielding techniques that blended shinobi jutsu with spiritual manipulation. They targeted the bond between Naruto and the sisters, trying to disrupt the soul tether with chakra specifically designed to sever spiritual connections. Pain lanced through all 3 of them as one such attack struck home, and Naruto felt the bond waver for a terrifying moment before stabilizing. They can't break it completely, Kurama gasped, analyzing the attack even as she deflected another strike. But they can weaken it temporarily. If we're separated physically while the bond is disrupted, we won't be, Kurama interrupted fiercely. She and Kuramai moved to flank Naruto, their tails intertwining with his chakra to create a defensive barrier. Together. Always together. Naruto felt the bond strengthen as they synchronized, and suddenly he understood. The soul tether wasn't just a connection, it was a source of power when they truly unified. He reached for that power now, and both sisters responded instantly. Their chakra merged, red and gold and brilliant blue intertwining into something new. Naruto's body became wreathed in a cloak of Bijou chakra, but different from his usual Kurama mode. This was balanced perfectly between yang and yin, between Kurama's fierce power and Kuramai's subtle control. Trinity Fox Mode, Kurama whispered, awed. I didn't know we could achieve this. We're learning together, Naruto said, his voice resonating with harmonics from all three of them. Now let's end this. The battle shifted dramatically. In Trinity Fox Mode, Naruto could access abilities from both sisters simultaneously. Kurama's destructive bijou bombs combined with Kurama's illusion techniques, creating attacks that were both devastating and impossible to predict. The masked attackers, powerful as they were, couldn't match the perfect coordination of three beings sharing one will. But the corrupted spirits were another matter. They attacked mindlessly, feeling no pain, knowing no fear. Taking them down without killing them, because they were victims, not villains, required precision and restraint. We need to purify the corruption, Kurama said, analyzing one of the spirits. It's a seal of some kind, forcing transformation and controlling their actions. If I can unravel it, do it, Naruto said. Kurama and I will handle defense. What followed was a delicate dance of combat. Kurama and Naruto in their merged state held off the masked attackers and protected Kurama while she worked on purifying the corrupted spirits, one by one. Each purification took precious seconds, and there were dozens of spirits rampaging through the village. Help arrived in the form of Kakashi, Might Guy, and a full ANBU squadron. Then Yujito and B joined the fray, Matatabi's blue flames incinerating the corruption from the spirits without harming their essential nature. Nice trick, so slick! B rapped as he fought alongside them. Purifying corruption, that's the conviction. Slowly, painstakingly, they turned the tide. The corrupted spirits were freed and contained. The masked attackers were forced to retreat when faced with overwhelming opposition, and the chaos began to settle. But not before the lead attacker threw one final strike, a desperate, powerful technique aimed directly at the bond between Naruto and the sisters. Severance Seal! She screamed, and black chakra lashed out like chains. Naruto felt the attack coming and made a split-second decision. He pulled Kurama and Kurama closer, wrapping them in his arms, and instead of trying to dodge or deflect, he accepted the attack fully, letting it strike the three of them as a unified whole rather than trying to protect the bond externally. The pain was excruciating, like hooks tearing at his soul. He heard both sisters cry out, felt their agony through the connection, but he also felt something else, the bond itself fighting back, refusing to break, growing stronger in response to the threat. The severance seal shattered against their unified will, and the backlash sent the attacker flying backward. She crashed into a building and didn't get up. ANBU immediately moved to secure her, but Naruto barely noticed. He was too focused on Kurama and Kurama, checking them for injuries, feeling through the bond to ensure they were truly alright. We're okay, Kurama said shakily. That was close. Too close, Kurama agreed. But it proved something. The bond isn't just a connection, it's a defense mechanism. The more they try to break it, the stronger it becomes in response. Tsunade appeared, looking furious and relieved in equal measure. Medical teams are handling the wounded. The attackers have been captured, and you three are going to the hospital right now for a full examination. We're fine, Naruto started. That wasn't a request, Tsunade said in a tone that brooked no argument. You just tanked a severance seal designed to tear soul bonds apart. I need to make sure it didn't do any lasting damage. The hospital examination took hours. Tsunade, assisted by Sakura and the village's best medical neem and seal specialists, ran every diagnostic they could think of. Throughout it all, Naruto held hands with both Kurama and Kurama, refusing to let them be separated even for the examination. Finally, Tsunade looked up from her notes, with an expression that mixed professional concern with personal wonder. This is remarkable. The severance seal should have at least weakened your bond, if not broken it entirely. Instead, your soul tether has actually grown stronger. The attempted severance forced your chakras to intertwine more deeply to resist the attack. Is that good or bad? Naruto asked. Good, I think. But it also means you're now more dependent on each other than before. Your chakra systems have synchronized to an unprecedented degree. If one of you is seriously injured or chakra depleted, the others will feel it immediately and experience partial effects. Kurama frowned. So we're more vulnerable to coordinated attacks, or more resilient to separation attempts, Kurama countered. It depends on perspective. Sakura pulled up a chakra scan, displaying the intricate weaving of their energy systems. Look at this. Your chakra doesn't just flow alongside each other anymore. It's braided together, supporting and reinforcing. It's beautiful, actually. Like three rivers becoming one while maintaining their distinct natures. The ceremony will complete the process, Kurama observed. The spirit-marking ritual will formalize what's already begun naturally. After that, the bond will be effectively unbreakable by external forces. 2 days, Naruto said quietly. We just have to make it 2 more days. Tsunade nodded grimly. We're increasing security. The attackers we captured are being interrogated. But I don't expect them to give up much. Fanatics rarely do. What we did learn is that the Spirit Liberation Front sees your ceremony as a symbolic target. If they can disrupt or destroy it, they believe it will discourage other spirits from bonding with humans. Then we make sure they fail, Kurama said firmly. We hold the ceremony as planned and show them that fear and violence can't break genuine bonds. Agreed, Tsunade said. But you 3 need rest. Real rest. No training, no missions, nothing strenuous until after the ceremony. Your chakra systems need time to stabilize after the attack. They were released from the hospital that evening with strict orders to take it easy. Back at Naruto's apartment, they found it filled with friends. Shikamaru, Ino, Choji, Sakura, Hinata, Sasuke, and others, all waiting to make sure they were alright. We heard what happened, Ino said, pulling them into hugs despite Kurama's initial resistance. You scared us. Sorry, Naruto said sheepishly. But we're okay. More than okay, actually. Shikamaru studied them with his analytical gaze. The bond really did get stronger, didn't it? I can see it in how you move together, how you unconsciously synchronize. It's like you're becoming one entity in 3 bodies. That's both accurate and deeply unsettling when you phrase it that way, Kurama said, but she was smiling. The ceremony is still happening, Sasuke stated rather than asked. Despite the attack. Because of the attack, Naruto corrected. We're not going to let terrorists dictate our lives. This bond, this ceremony, it matters. Not just to us, but to everyone who's ever wanted to prove that different kinds of beings can choose to be together. Plus, Kurama added with a fierce grin, I want to see the looks on their faces when we complete the ceremony right in front of them. When we prove that their hatred and fear can't touch what we've built. Hinata spoke up softly. We're all going to be there. Every single one of us. Not just as guests, but as protection. No one is going to disrupt your ceremony. Damn right, Kiba said, appearing in the doorway with Akamaru. Anyone who tries will have to go through all of us first. And us, came Yujito's voice as she and B entered. The Bijas stand with you. Matatabi wants the world to see that we support what you're doing. Naruto felt emotion swell in his chest. Gratitude, love, determination. Through the soul tether, he felt Kurama and Kurama's matching feelings. And their combined emotion created a resonance that made the air around them shimmer with chakra. Thank you, he said simply. All of you. We couldn't do this without you. You won't have to, Kakashi said from where he'd been leaning against the wall, observing. That's what it means to be part of Konoha. We protect our own. And you 3 are definitely our own. The gathering continued into the evening, friends sharing food and stories, planning last-minute details for the ceremony, and generally refusing to let fear or violence overshadow the joy of the upcoming event. As night fell and people gradually departed, Naruto found himself alone with Kurama and Kurama once more. They sat together on the roof, watching stars emerge in the darkening sky. 2 more days, Kurama murmured. Then everything changes. Everything's already changed, Kurama corrected. The ceremony just makes it official. Are you nervous? Naruto asked. Terrified, both sisters admitted simultaneously, then laughed at the synchronization. But also excited, Kurama continued. Ready. This is what we want, what we've wanted since we realized what the bond could mean. Whatever happens at the ceremony, whatever attacks come or don't come, whatever the political fallout, we'll handle it, Kurama said firmly. Because we're stronger together than any force that could stand against us. Naruto pulled them both close, and they sat together under the stars, 3 souls already so deeply intertwined that the upcoming ceremony felt less like a beginning and more like an acknowledgement of what had always been true. They were bonded. They were unified. They were home. And in 2 days the world would witness it.